So in this video, I'm going to show you how I set up my iPad home screen for productivity, to boost my motivation, but also to just make the things I have to do every single day more enjoyable. Now, what we're not going to do is see how sophisticated or how complex we can make it. We actually want to make it functional, something that we're going to use every single day all the time. Let's dig in. All right, so here we are on my iPad, and as you can see, it's still set up the way it comes fresh out the box. The way I look at this iPad is 3 columns. Like this area right here would be 1 column, this would be 2 columns, and this would be the third column. Or I got 1 row, 2 row. All right. So when it comes to this, I'm going to show you how I set it up. But first things first, what I want to do is I want to come down here. I'm going to jiggle that. And what I want to do is I actually want to use my finger to scroll over to a blank page. All right. And what I want to do is I want to add in the very first widget, which is going to be based around me just tracking the things that's important to me, such as how well I slept and any activities or events that I have going on for the day. So first things first, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in rise because this is the very first one I want. Then I'm going to scroll over. Let's see, that's not it. This is the one I want right here, energy and calendar. This is the one I want. So I'm going to say add. The next one I want to do is I want to say plus again. And the next one is going to be Fantastical. The reason why I want Fantastical on here is because, well, I need redundancy just because sometimes I don't have my calendar view open. And this is the one I want, event list and plus calendar. This is what I want right here. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drop it in there. And that's what I want. The next one that I want to grab from here is going to be what allows me to see how I'm doing as far as my workouts and my health and things like that go. I'm going to go with one called Gentler, which is right here. So I'm going to click on the third on the dot. This is the one I want right here. The next one that I want that's going to help me track my health is going to be Streaks. Now, this more so is about habit tracking than it is about health. So I'm going to actually, I don't want that one, but let's see where's the one that I actually want, which is right here. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to drop it in here. And then after that, I'm going to cancel this really quickly. And I'm going to click on this because I want to remove that. And the next column, going vertical, I want to do is keep time. So for me, being able to track my time is mission critical to me. I've learned that when it comes to me getting things done, me being on a timer always works better for me. If I don't have a timer going, then honestly, I might just dibble dabble or something like that. So I have to be racing the clock to reach my full potential. That's just how I am. So to make sure that that happens, I have 3 widgets that I want to use for that. So we can hold anywhere on the screen and we're going to get the wiggle. Then I'm going to come up here, click on the plus sign, and the first one I want to grab is Focus Keeper. And I think Focus Keeper is one of those apps that I did not have. So I'm going to use my finger to scroll through because it's just easier. But this is what I want. I want to Focus Keeper. This is the one I want right here. I'm going to put that right there. We're going to cancel this out, bring it down, and I'm just going to remove this. Now we're going to hold our finger anywhere on the screen to give the wiggle again. Hit the plus sign. And the next one that I want to add in is going to be a Time Logger Pro, which is right here. And with this one, I want this right here. It just tracks. I'm going to place it in there. And then the next one that I want is going to be Timery. Now, if you remember, Timery, we added it because I wanted to see which one I was going to like the best. And with this one, I really want to see, I genuinely want to see which one I like the best. So I'm assuming current time and entry. No, let's do this one right here. I kind of feel like I like this one better. So the dashboard. So I'm going to drop that in right there. And let's come out of here because I think that's it. But let's make sure I got all 3. So we can say done. We have timer, we have a Time Logger Pro, and we have our Focus Keeper. Those are the ones I want. So for this column down here, which is the 4th column, I only want one thing right here, and that is another timer. but it's a different timer. It's the timer that keeps all my goals in my face. So I'm going to say a countdown. I'm going to click right here. And what I want is this one is the one that shows me where I'm at, what I'm doing, and it highlights all my goals. Now, I want one more up in here. So I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to come back over to a countdown because while it's important to highlight my goals, I also want to know what's the next goal coming up. And that's what this one right here does. So I want to add this one in. And yes, that's Christmas. I love Christmas. So now I'm going to come up there, and that's how I like it. Now, what you're looking at right now is the foundation of everything that I do. It allows me to see my sleep time. It allows me to see how well I'm working out. So for example, if we look at it, you can see right here, that's my sleep time. You can see how long I slept. You can see how many hours I'm owed or anything like that. Over here is my events, which is important to me because it allows me to see what's coming up. These are my habits right here. This area right here shows my habits, the three things that I want to track, which is my tip off, which is reading for an hour and drinking water. Now, if I click into here, I have way more stuff going on up in here, such as 6,500 steps. If I come over, it also shows coding for an hour. So it's easy for me to click into here and open this up and do this. So daily therapy, which is me just writing in my journal and going from there. And then I can hold it again because I did it for both days. So as you can see, this allows me to just basically take care of all the things that I need to take care of. You can see right here, I have date tip off. I have my daily therapy, which I did this today so I can get rid of that. And then you can see that coding hour, just read, eat healthy. I actually had a healthy meal already, so I can get rid of that. My biggest problem with this app is me not, I do it, but because it's not automated, like for example, walking 6,500 steps is automated. Once I hit 6,500 on my Apple Watch, this automatically gets done. But for this, like I don't come over here and say, okay, yeah, I did it, so I'm good. So I tend to have to go back and clean it up and all that other cool stuff, which I'm cool with because as long as I'm doing, as long as it's in my front of my mind, it's cool. And then you can see down here, I got a little 4 things left to do. So again, this right here is a must have for me to keep my habits front and center. The next one is going to be right here, go gentler. This right here is basically what tells me, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to do, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or, you need to pick up the pace. In this case right now, it should be telling me I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because I took a week off from working out. All I've been doing is stretching. So I know that I need to go harder with this, but come Sunday, which is tomorrow, I'll be right back at it. So this is why I like this. And then Pomodoro timers, I like this because it allows me to just click play and I can just start. I can go for what I know, which is a pretty cool thing. And then this right here keeps my initial goal front and center. This is me. Right now I'm in the process of creating a shortcuts cheat sheet for you, but this keeps it front and center, top of mind for me. So this is my dashboard. And let's move on to the next part that I want to create inside my dashboard. But I wanted to make sure you understood why my dashboard is functional and how I actually use it. So I'm not just trying to be fancy. All right. So in this area right here, we're going to take this entire area up. So I'm going to just hold my finger to get a wiggle. Next thing, I'm going to press the plus button. And the first thing I need is what any true shortcuts person want, which is shortcuts. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add this. So I'm going to say add widgets. Now, once I've added these widgets, that's awesome, but I need to fix this because I don't want it to be all shortcuts. I have a specific one called dashboard that I want on my dashboard. These are my go-to shortcuts that I use all the time, and these are the ones I want. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to hit the plus button again, and I want to say Fantastic Cow because I also want a bigger thing with my calendar. So I want the biggest one they got, which is right here. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have this right here and right here? Why is it redundancy? Well, it's redundancy because 9 times out of 10, it lives like this or is like this, and I'm looking at everything at a bird's eye view, but they're never together at the same time. So right now I'm going to click on done, and I'm going to hold this and I'm going to say edit stack because I don't want smart rotation on. I don't want widget suggestion on. I'm setting up my things just the way I want it, and I don't want Siri changing it up or trying to guess. I'm sure if I left it on long enough, she would learn what I like, what I want, and have it perfectly set up for me. But honestly, I just want to be able to interact with my device myself. This isn't one of those things I want to automate. So I'm just going through and I'm turning off smart rotation and widget suggestion off because it burns my britches when I come here and I see her suggesting something that's not even a part of my dashboard. So down here in this column right here, what I want to do is I want to add in a few items. So in order to add in a few items, we're going to wiggle it again, hold anywhere on the screen. We already know it. We're going to hit the plus sign. And the first one I want to add in is going to be the Files app. Now, I can't show you the power of this because of honestly, I just don't have iCloud connected to this. I have it turned off. But what I want to show you is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click into here and you can pick whatever folder you want. So you can say pick a folder. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick on my iPad. I normally would pick iCloud and then I would pick my Pomodoro folder and that would show me all 4 of my Pomodoro folders. But in this case, I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say on my iPad and I'm going to say open. Then I'm going to say done. And the cool thing you can see what just happened is it gives me quick access to 4 folders. So I use this for Pomodoro or, well, I'm saying Pomodoro, but I mean Para. So if you have the second brain, then you know Para is the default filing structure for everything. So on my iPad mini that I actually use, this is my filing structure. It would be Para though, not just these random folders right here. The next one I want to add is I'm going to hold right here and I'm going to add in YNAB. Now, YNAB is one of those apps we did not install. It's one that I installed later because it's one that I use all the time. Keeping up with my budget, my finances, and stuff like that, kind of important to me. So I could choose a category right here, and I could choose whatever category I want, and then I can go from there. But for me, I've learned that I just like to leave it at the default because when I click into it, it opens up YNAB to where I want it to be. So I just leave it as is. The next one we're going to click on is going to be Focus Keeper. Now, the reason why I use Focus Keeper right here as well is because I do really good with having a timer in my face and having this as a one for me to be able to just push because over here it might be set up to like this or something like that, and having this timer running while I'm looking at this counting up it works really good for me, like seriously. So now I'm gonna say plus again, and the next one I want to add in is Notability. I'm getting more and more into jotting down notes because I miss being able to have a pen and paper that I jot down notes with. So now this allows me to click it one time and I'm instantly there. So it's pretty cool stuff. Now, at the time of this video, we have a glitch going on inside of Apple that I'm waiting on them to come out with an update for, but for whatever reason, whatever your last thing is you put in this area, it glitches out. It stays, then it doesn't. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, but first I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hold this and let's see if we can add a new window. This just makes it easier for me to match this stuff up without messing up my screen. So the first one I want is going to be OmniFocus. So for OmniFocus, I'm looking for the inbox. The reason why I want the inbox here, this isn't the inbox, but I need this as well. This is the forecast. The reason why I want this is because I want to see what's going on with what I got to get done for the day. The next one is, if I come back over here, I want the inbox because I'm putting things in the inbox all day and I want to make sure that I'm processing whatever's in my inbox in a reasonable amount of time. The next one I want over here is going to be called TickTick. Now with TickTick, this is going to be my ideal bank. So I use this strictly for capturing ideas. So I set it up a certain way. So instead of it saying today, I don't have it at today, I have it as folder. And for choose, I have it on ideal bank all the time. And auto dark mode is fine for me. I leave it like so. And that just shows me my ideas that I have up in there that I want to eventually create videos around. Right here, I can say choose perspective. And right here, I can go with whatever. If I have a specific perspective I want, I can change it up and choose it. But I don't want to do that. I want to leave it at my inbox perspective. Then over here, you can see that these are the things that I should be getting done. Some of these things are old. Like I don't use this iPad that we're working on, so it hasn't caught up. But creating a video for the cheat sheet, I did that. Grow meeting, that was yesterday. I did all of that. And once we actually open up the app, then it'll actually change that up. Update college goals. That was something that I had to do with my kids. We was gonna go out, sit down, and see where they had at as far as their college goals and things like that. The last one I wanted to do was I want to wiggle again and I want to do Spark. Now, Spark is from back in the day, but lately this app has gotten really good. So if you had it back in the day, like it has gotten good. So this has been my email client of choice as of late. I still have Airmail, but that's for all my mail. This is for like my w.prevo@gmail.com email where a lot of stuff comes. So now the way I want to set this up is I'm just gonna add these all in, and now I'm gonna click into it. And what I want to do is you can see where I got my inbox and I got my forecast together. I don't want that. What I want is I want it to be I want to always default here. So when I default here, I can click off and let's click off again. Now, if you look, I'm here, but if I want my inbox, there's my inbox. I scroll up. If I want my forecast, I just scroll down. If I want tick, then I just scroll down. So I really, really like this setup. Plus it's muscle memory. That's what I'm used to. So now what I can do is I can grab this, take it back over here and place it right here. Hopefully it doesn't disappear on me, but this is how I want it. I'm not going to wiggle this around or anything like that because again, I don't want it to glitch out. But at the end of the video, I'll do it just so you can see what I'm talking about. But now that we have my home page set up just the way I want it, now it's time for me to boost my motivation because here's the deal. For me, I find that the things that motivate me are the things that keeping my goals in front of me. If you look at my home screen, everything about this home screen or this dashboard is about keeping my goals in front of me. So the next thing I want to do is I want to change up this background, but I don't want to just use any background to change it up. I'm not trying to make it look super slick and super cool. I want to change my background image to something that I have an emotional attachment to. So let's do that now. All right, so I'm going to say settings. So I just press Command and Space to bring up the quick action shortcut or whatever it's called, search. And what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to come down to where it says wallpaper. And I want to add a new wallpaper. Now, for here, I want to click on photos and I want this wallpaper right here. This motivates me because it's a part of my vision board. So this is directly on my vision board. This is downtown Chicago, sitting outside. I would love to be sitting here on my laptop with this awesome view writing an email. So this is why this is so motivating. Now, if I wanted to, I can add some widgets here. I can do my timer and things like that. But honestly, on my iPad, I found that I don't really use this widget area. I like for it to be clean and I can see everything. So that's what I like. Now with my time, I do like to change up my time to make it a little bit smaller like so because I don't want it so big. Like you got it like this, but I don't want it so big. I want it to be barely noticeable. Then over here, I can look at like which ones I like. But I tend to like this one right here the best. And then when this is font and color, these are only for fonts. Then over here, I can change it up to, better match the ambiance if I wanted it to. So if I wanted it to be more of an orange, like the fire, I could do that, and that helps it blend in. Or if I want it to be darker where I can barely see it, then I could do that. But I tend to like it probably about right there, I want to say. Yeah, because I'm gonna go with right there. I like this orange. Tends to match the fire. That's what I'm gonna go with. And this is all I do here. You can add more if you wanted to, but honestly, this is how I like it. So I'm gonna say add, and right here I'm gonna have it set up like so. So I'm gonna say set as pair. Now I have this picture set up as my vision board, and then I'll change this picture up to have a different picture in my vision board. But since I only have this picture on this iPad, I'm just gonna roll with this. So I'm gonna say set as wallpaper pair. And now it does that. And if I ever want to go back to the old one, I can go back. But now this is my new wallpaper. If we close it up, we can see it changed. If that's what I like. So now next, what I want to do is I want to address this down here. These widgets got to go. But first, let's do away with this box right here. In order to do that, we're going to go back to our settings. And in our settings, we're going to come down to home screen and app library. And where it says show app library and dock, I'm going to turn that off. Also, don't have on show suggested and recent apps and dock because, I mean, honestly, I don't want that. And that's just going to show, like, if you open up an app, then it's going to appear in your dock area. I want complete control of my dock area, so I'm not using that. Now, once that's done, I can close out of here. And now what I want to do is I actually want to come over here and hold this down. I'm going to click right here and I'm going to just turn off all of these because I no longer need them. So I'm going to say done. And now what I want is when I scroll over, I want it to instantly be in my library. So this is the only page I have, which is exactly the way I want it. Now for this, I'm going to do now is I'm going to just remove all these apps from my dock area. It's important to note that I'm actually removing the app from the home screen and not deleting the app. All right. And that was the last one. Now what I want to do is I want to open up shortcuts and I want to navigate over to, let's see here, the iPad shortcuts. So I'm going to use this. So I'm going to hold this, click share, and I'm going to click on add to home screen. I'm going to close this out. Now this iPad isn't on beta, but in beta version, this looks different. It now shows a preview of your wallpaper and this isn't here anymore. So depending upon what version you're on, if you're on a beta version, then you don't see this. What you see is it up here, but you can still delete it. All right, so I'm gonna have it like this. I'm gonna say add. Now I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna do this one next. I'm gonna say share. I'm gonna remove the text, say add, and what I'm doing is right clicking. But if you hold your finger on here, it will give you the same menu. But I'm using a mouse, so I'm just right clicking on it. I'm gonna click share, add to home screen. I'm gonna exit out of that. I'm gonna say add. And now what I wanna do is I wanna come back over here and instead of getting the rest of the apps out the iPad, I actually wanna scroll up to my iPhone dock area because these are the two that I want from my iPhone dock area. I want phone and I want menu. And the reason why I'm getting it from here is because I've noticed because these are on my phone, I'm always updating them. But if I don't update them on my iPad, and I go to my iPad, those don't translate over because they're two separate shortcuts. So these two I use universally on my iPhone and my iPad. The other apps that I just did are strictly for my iPad. So now what I want to do is I want to green. I'm going to exit out the phone, click add. We're going to come back over here. We're going to grab this menu, green, close out the menu, click add. Now, these are the apps that I want. So I'm going to grab here and I'm going to put there. That's the first one I want. The next one I want is going to be phone. I'm sorry, it's going to be the laptop or menu. I'm going to have settings icon right here because it's systems for my system. I'm going to have creative apps. Then I'm going to have automation, which this is automation. And now I can say done. And now you can see that's gone away. So now if I click here on my iPad, I get this cool little menu. Or if I click right here, I get this cool little menu. If I click on my systems, this takes away everything and only shows me what's a part of my system, which are these things right here. I can always add more apps to my system as my system grow, but right now we're keeping it simple. I can click right here. What do I want to do? If I want to write, if I want to do a mock-up, I could just step into whatever it is I want to do. And the cool thing about it is once I click on here, it gives me another set of menus. So this is mainly how I access all my different applications and things like that. And then you can see right here, I have my mind note and things like that. And honestly, this is where it starts to get cool because if I click on workflow, unless I say, okay, I'm doing a tip off. If I click right here, Fantastic Counter OmniFocus, they both open up together side by side. And now I'm able to start working with them. So I'm able to start, let's say if I'm on, today is the 16th. Let's say I'm on the 16th. And let's say that I want to come down to scroll down. And let's say, okay, I see where I have to be at my other job in a couple of hours. Let's say I wanted to make sure I get this done, I can bring it over here and just drop it in, and it automatically goes from there to there. Like, this gets really, really cool. I'm gonna delete that because it's not what I want to do right now, but it gets really cool. So this is how I use my iPad. Now I got one more thing I want to do to round this off. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna slide over, and I want to tackle these because over here, I actually use this stuff. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to remove it because I don't need it. I'm going to remove that because I don't need it. And I'm going to remove that because I don't need it. Now what I want to do is I want to add in. Now I do want batteries because I find that this is pretty important for me to have. So I'm going to add this in there. I have that at the top of the screen. I'm going to say plus. I'm going to say shortcuts. And what I want to do here is I want this one right here. So I'm going to say add. And then what I want to do with this is I want to change it. So you already know how to change it. I'm going to change it, and I'm scrolling down, and this is what I want right here, focus modes. So I'm going to change this, and now I could use this to jump off into any focus mode I want or turn off my focus modes. Now, if I'm not mistaken, those are everything that I have, and I have one more. So I'm gonna click plus, and I'm gonna add screen time. I know I'm a stickler for tracking stuff. I feel like, we can fool ourselves, but the data don't lie. So I tend to like to know exactly what it is I'm doing. So this basically is just allowing me to track what I'm doing on my iPad. It's actually tracking what's going on my iPad, my screen time, how long I'm in different apps and things like that. So that's what this is, screen time. And you can see right here, now that data that came in since I opened it up, and you can see where I spent my time at so far. And I feel like this right here combined with all my other tracking that I'm doing works beautifully. And honestly, this is my home screen. This is my dashboard. This is my functional dashboard that on my iPad mini. If you looked at my iPad mini right now, this would be my exact dashboard that I walk around with on my iPad getting things done. Now, the sun is actually overexposed. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll see in camera, but if not, just understand that the screenshot that you see when you clicked on this thumbnail is exactly how I do my iPad mini. The only difference is you are able to see the Pomodoro calendar on here. So with that being said, the last thing to do is for you to understand that this is the baseline for where you're starting. If you find that the way you set up your home screen, you're missing something. So for example, I realized that I really needed the notes right here, and I really needed Focus Keeper right here. I needed these two because I found myself always going back grabbing those apps. That's also the reason why I have this right here, because I don't have any apps on my screen. But these Obsidian, YouTube Studio, Devin Think, and this thumbnail is actually just a website for me to be able to pull thumbnails from. These doesn't have widgets. So I don't have a widget area for YouTube's Obsidian or Devin Think or the thumbnail. So as a result, this is how I get around that. I can click right here and get quick access to those. And those are added to my widget area. Everything else, if I want it, I just click into it and I'm there, which is super powerful. Now, let me see if it's going to glitch out. I'm going to actually pull down on this, and you can see it just glitched out. So this is something I don't like that it do. And the only way to prevent it from doing that or to get it back is to hold it. If you don't hold it like I just did, this is going to disappear and go away, which vexes me to no end. So I'm hoping Apple come out with a fix for that really soon, because it's messing with my dashboard. I don't like it. Now, if you want to know how I was able to get this menu right here down here and how I was able to set it up step by step, you can watch this video next, and I'll walk you through exactly how I was able to do it. Everything you need is in that video. All the extra shortcuts you need is in that video, and I step you through it step by step. Till next time, I'll meet you in this video right here.